Nerd Nation, to this latest edition of the Sports Nerd Show. We are a collection of sports nerds whose mission is to bring you as much sports talk as time allows over the next 60 minutes. Although we will strive to be highly informative and equally as entertaining over the next hour, we must warn you that there may be some cuss words along the way. But we don't give a damn, because that is the way most humans in the real world tend to talk, and we, the sports nerds, are no exception. So without further ado, Nerd Nation, sit back, relax, and enjoy the ride as I present to you the founder and host of this crazy-ass show, Scott, the Sports Nerd Wright.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Nerds. I am your host, Scott Wright, the Sports Nerd, along with my co-host tonight, Mr. Elliot Biggie, the producer Elliot, and Mr. Wayne.
There, he did it again. He did it again.
What?
Elliot, the producer Elliot.
Oh, my God. Let me correct that on the fly. Elliot, the producer Lamba. Excuse me for that.
No,
I'm
it's
an idiot.
Biggie, the producer. Lamba.
Biggie, the producer. I'm gonna start Biggie, the producer. I'm gonna stop
now
at
he's
that.
calling me Biggie, the producer Elliot.
Yeah, whatever. Anyway, and Mr. Wayne, the Professor Lynch. We will go over what has happened in the NFL the last couple of nights, specifically the Sunday game with the
Lions and Rams.
Lions and the Rams, and of course last night for our co-hosts, the Jets and the Niners last night. Derek Laughlin wanted to be here, but of course he bailed out. I'm glad for that.
Isn't that fortunate for you?
It is fortunate for me because he just loves to bash the Cleveland Browns every time he's on the
But
show.
you know what? I love bashing them too, so I might just revisit that whole time.
That's fine, Elliot. Go ahead.
I mean, that was a spanking you guys got put on. And supposedly by the best. Wasn't your defense supposed to be
one of the best in the NFL?
The cornerstone
yes.
of your freaking team?
Yeah. The jet sweep killed us.
Jets did the same thing.
They were supposed to be a top 5 defense as well. You're right.
Yeah. And I tell you what, Dallas and San Francisco put a whooping on them defenses.
Yes, they did. Yes, I was more surprised.
I like to see them try that on week 5.
Well, I was more surprised about the Dallas beatdown than I was about the Frisco beatdown.
Ain't that right, Wayne?
Yes.
Like to see them try that on week 5.
And the reason why I was not surprised by San Francisco is because I believe the Jets were overrated going into the season to begin with. So, but we'll see how
I wouldn't say overrated. I just think that they ran into history because historically, Aaron Rodgers has not had success against the 49ers.
And that was funny because Annie Agar put her week 1 review out today. And the last thing she said was, and Aaron Rodgers is in postseason form because they lost to the Niners. So, I mean, it is what it is. I love her weekly updates. I'm glad she's staying humble and doing those every week because she's really good at doing those, guys. If you haven't watched, you don't follow Annie Agar on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, you're missing out. She's really good. She's 26 years old, and she's smart as a tack, and she's funny as hell. She really is. That being said, Sunday night, Rams and Lions. Lions win the game. I mean, that game could have gone either way. Could have gone either way. Rams were playing well. The Lions were playing well. It was a great matchup with Goff and Stafford that we saw last year in the playoffs as well.
Isn't the bigger story Puka Nacua?
He got injured. Yes.
Yeah, he's on IR.
He's on IR
for at least 4 weeks.
Yes.
Yep.
That's pretty big. I mean, Cooper Kupp stepped it up.
Right.
But is that going to continue without Puka Nacua?
Now they can key on Kupp as opposed to, having Nacua and Kupp, running routes.
Yeah.
Yep. So I guess we'll see. But anyway, about the game itself, overtime, right?
Yes, overtime.
You know, it really sucks, man, because like the overtime rule is different in the regular season than it is in the playoffs.
Right, because if this was the playoffs, LA would have had a chance to
And you know what? I think they shouldn't split it between the two. That's like they need to take a page out of the book of baseball, who finally decided that they were just going to put the DH in everywhere.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what they need to do. They need to rip that Band-Aid off and fix that.
What? So you're saying that both teams should have a chance or have the ball during
Both
overtime,
teams should
during the
have
regular season?
that should be a rule in the game for general purposes.
Just during the regular season as well as the playoffs.
As well, yes. I mean, remember before it used to be in baseball, it used to be regular season or the park that you're in, and they used to make different conditions for when the DH was going to be used.
Right. The American League would
All of
have
a sudden, the entire league.
Yeah.
Now all of a sudden, the entire league is using the DH.
Right.
Okay. Well, football needs to kind of.
And purists are against that because they believe that that the DH is an abomination because that's for the purists of baseball. But
no, that's for the archaic.
well, that too. Yeah.
Archaic.
But if you look at it, all these sports have different rules for regular season and playoff. I mean, baseball even, they have the ghost runner on second during the regular season, and then when you get to playoffs, if it goes to extra innings, then it reverts back to the rule, 100 years ago where, you go up to the plate, there's no ghost runner on second, you play the inning out.
Right.
Same with hockey. They
make it
uniform in hockey, and then they just got overtime.
Yeah,
in
it
the
should
playoffs.
be uniform, dude. It should be uniform.
Should be uniform throughout the season and the playoffs for all sports.
Yep. I'm with you. But regardless, I mean, it was a great game. I didn't watch the whole game. I watched probably the first half.
Well, I did. I watched it. It was interesting because the Rams shut down Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Mhm.
They pretty much got chewed up on the ground, is what happened.
Oh, they got
Well,
smoked.
especially in overtime where they ran they
Well,
ran the ball
7
5 out of 6 plays. And they ran it right down their throat.
Montgomery was eating them up.
Yes.
6 out of 7 plays in overtime was a run.
In fact, Montgomery got the scepter this morning for angry runs
Yeah.
on Good Morning Football.
Yeah, no, Montgomery put it on him.
So, but it is what it is. So, I mean, it was 9 plays, 70 yards. They ran like 5 out of 6 of the plays were, 12-yard run, 21-yard run, 9-yard run, then a pass to Gibbs, and then a 3-yard, 6-yard, 8-yard run, and then a touchdown.
But the Rams should have won that game.
Yeah, I mean, they just ran it right down the Rams' throat in overtime. That's all they did. That's all they had to do.
Matthew Stafford will always find a way to lose in Ford Field.
Well, yeah, that goes back to his days in Detroit. I got you on that.
Matters, yeah.
So, I mean, hats off to the Lions. They go 1-0. They pick up where they left off. They beat the Rams in the playoffs last year as well. And you know what? I love Dan Campbell. I really love the way Dan Campbell coaches his team. I really do. He's probably top 10 coach, if not top 5 in the league right now. He's just amazing. Now, I know I got 2 Niners fans on the panel, so I'm going to sit back and relax. Last night's game, first of all, Christian McCaffrey gets goes ineligible 90 minutes before kickoff. And then Mason comes in and just runs over the whole friggin' Jets defense last night.
Basically.
Talk about running angry. He ran angry.
Jets fans, they felt a little bit of a tingle when it was announced that McCaffrey wasn't going to play. They really felt like,
This was your chance.
This is it. We can
Yeah.
do this now. And then along comes a man named Jordan.
Mr. Mason.
No, just Jordan.
Just gonna call him Jordan. There was a meme I saw out there that he was the first Mason to run rampant on San Francisco. It's the movie The Rock.
Okay. But still, just Jordan.
Because Sean Connery played with a Cap Kirkney and my last name is Mason, so that's
Mason,
why.
yeah.
Along came a guy named Jordan. And he pulled a mic on them.
Yeah, 28 carries for 147 yards and a touchdown.
He
He averaged
dropped
5.25 yards per
Dude,
carry.
he dropped a mic on them. That's all it is.
Definitely.
Jordan dropped the mic on him. That's it. That's the headline right there.
And the nitpick, 2 for 5 in the red zone. So if you just add 2 more touchdowns to that, it would have been a mollywop and a half as
They could have
opposed to
scored 50.
32-19.
If they would have taken advantage of the red zone, they could have scored 50 on them.
Oh, they'd laid a 50 burger on them, no problem.
Yep. But what looked worse? San Francisco on both sides just looked like the team that everybody projects as being the favorite in the NFC. Okay. Yeah, on both sides of the ball, they just played phenomenal against the Jets. So much, and then the offense after that first drive that they didn't score, it was a 3-and-out. They actually had a 3-and-out. First drive. Then they scored on 8
straight possessions.
Did they even punt?
8
They punted after the
first one.
first possession.
First possession they punted.
Yeah, they punted. It was it was 58 yards, right, Jamal?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Wisnowski. Yep.
Right.
Which means they spent a lot of time on the field.
Well, again, Jake Moody was
Offensively,
yeah, but Jake Moody was 6 for 6 on those field goals. So
he did. He had a pretty good fantasy night for some people.
Oh, yeah.
27 fantasy points, I think.
Over 38 minutes with the ball. I think they held the ball 38 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah. And the Jets had it for like 22.
21 minutes and 20 seconds. There you go.
Well, the good news for the Jets fans is that Aaron Rodgers ended up in the game still healthy, so he's still the quarterback.
And Rodgers only had 21 attempts.
I think Rodgers was rusty. What do you guys think?
I don't think they used him enough. And a lot of that had to do with the fact that San Francisco shut down that that running attack with Breece Hall.
Yeah,
Where was Breece Hall last night?
Yeah, because you know what? Aaron Rodgers is dangerous when he uses his legs, and they just shut that down.
Where was Breece Hall last night? This guy was like all over the place. People talking all over the place about how great he was going to be.
Yeah.
You can't be talking that stuff when you're going up.
Rodgers only had 1 rush, and it was for -1 yards. Breece Hall.
That 49ers defense ain't nothing to play with.
Yeah. Aside from the first touchdown that the Jets had, the second touchdown was a broken play. And then
the third one was garbage time.
That was garbage time. So
yeah. So basically, they really only scored 1 touchdown.
I didn't see this. Tyrod Taylor was actually in the game at one point.
Yeah, at the end. Yeah.
At the end. Yeah, he threw a touchdown at
when the
end.
game was out of reach.
Yeah, when they got out of hand, man.
Yeah, it was 32-13 at that point.
They didn't want to run no repeats of Achilles issues. So
okay, so they took him out.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was no point to keep him in the game with a minute left.
I think he sat for the latter part of the fourth quarter. Yeah.
Yeah, the last 3 or 4 minutes of the fourth quarter, Tyrod Taylor took him down for that garbage touchdown.
Interesting. Well, we got nobody on the show tonight. Nobody's in the chat tonight. That's weird. Irregardless, what are your let me start with Elliot. What are your thoughts on week 1, not just with the Niners, but with everything that went on in the week and Sunday and Monday night? What are your thoughts on the start of the season? Kyle Brandt says the first week of the season is full of lies. You can't trust it because nobody knows what's going to happen the first week of the season. Then we go into the second week, maybe we get a better feeling of what's going to happen.
True. I, by the way, won my fantasy game this week. I beat Andrew,
Okay.
my nephew. My cousin, second cousin.
How much family do you have, Ellie? Well, it's a Latino family.
Well, he's Carlos. He's
on there.
Carlos's son. He's
Well,
Carlos's son. Carlos is
because
my
you're-
first cousin.
because you're Latino, you probably got a pretty big family. So
Well, I beat him by like 25 points.
okay. But what are your reflections on week one?
I walked away with the most points, so I won $25 for that. Okay. But insofar, I don't know. One thing's for sure, Carolina and the Giants suck. And poor Germany has to watch them later on in the
Yes.
season.
Yeah.
They might wage war against us
I
again.
was gonna say they're gonna declare war.
They might create some political issues.
Yeah, I'm sure some treaties and shit might be compromised.
Yeah, they're gonna declare war just for payback on World War II, but that's all right. Go ahead.
all of a sudden, they become non-extradition.
Right.
But yeah, no. I mean, look, what the first week showed me is that there's teams out there that are rusty. There's teams out there that are still not in their flow. Then there are teams out there that showed things that we might not have expected, but in the end, they'll wind up where they belong.
Right.
I'm saying Buffalo should not have won that game on Sunday. Arizona choked.
Arizona played a really good game against Buffalo.
They choked.
Yep. Yep.
They freaking choked.
Yep.
That is what they did. Okay.
I mean, Josh Allen had a left hand injury, so that's not going to affect his throwing. But he had an injury on his left hand.
Nice.
I mean, that run into the end zone where he leaped over everybody into the end zone was pretty awesome. He had 2 rushing touchdowns and two passing touchdowns, which had not been done since Steve Young did it with the Niners. I mean, the more the season progresses, the better the Bills.
What was the biggest shock to you guys on this weekend?
The biggest shock to me?
New England.
Yeah.
New England beating Cincinnati.
That without a doubt, man, hands down, that was the biggest shock.
Yeah, I didn't have that on my bingo card.
No, especially since Jamar Chase wound up playing.
Right, but he wasn't ready. He didn't play in the preseason. He held out all preseason long. How could he be game ready with I don't it is what it is, but still. But yeah, the Patriots beat down of the Bengals was not on my bingo card as well, Wayne. So, but the next question is going to be how does New England play in week 2? Are they going to be as bad as we thought?
New England's going to be all about defense first.
Yeah, gotta be.
Okay.
Gotta be.
That's all it comes down to with them boys is defense.
Because we know it's not the offense.
It's not going to be the offense. They don't have enough offensive weapons to go up against a lot of teams. But that defense can contend. That defense is what won them the game.
Yeah. Speaking of not being game ready, after holding out and watching the defense get pretty much ran through like a hot knife through butter.
Hassan Reddick.
Hassan Reddick. Do you think he's going to? Do you think he's like wants to be a part of that now, or will he get his money? Will he get his bag based on last night?
Oh, I don't know. After last night, he was probably sitting back, sipping on some yak and laughing his ass off. You know what I'm saying?
Well, and the pundits were talking today about he's got no loyalty to the Jets. It's all about the money with him.
It's about That's all it is.
Yeah,
Why
it's
should he
all
have
it is.
loyalty to a team he never played for before?
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Well,
what,
here's the
don't be
question:
surprised.
why did they trade for him when they knew he was coming up for a contract in the first place?
Don't be surprised if he signs in San Francisco.
Wayne, it's the Jets. They don't pay their players. Come
Yeah, I
on.
know they do jet-like things.
I mean, it's the Jets. Come on. You know,
It's kind of like Cleveland.
I mean, Hassan
People
Reddick is
like
wide
that.
receiver 1. They need to pay their receiver. I mean, CD Lamb got paid. Pay the man, for God's sake. He's just going to sit there until you pay him. So I don't know. And by the way, the Patriots' opponent next week are the Seahawks in New England. Seahawks won their week 1 game. So
Hey, that could be a winnable game for New
That
England.
could be winnable.
yeah,
That
absolutely.
definitely could be winnable.
Yep.
You
Yep.
know? But I mean, okay. So you look. Let's recap: Kansas City, Baltimore. There's many ways, shapes, and forms that Kansas City should have lost that game.
Well, yeah, Baltimore played very well despite the fact they lost that game. They played real well.
But not defensively.
Well, again, and to be honest, if you want to go so far as that is concerned, hang on a second. Let me go back. I'm on NFL.com. Bear with me here just a second. I mean, their bell cow. I mean, they signed Derrick Henry in the offseason,
And he didn't do much.
and he didn't do much at all. I mean, he had 13 carries for 46 yards. Hell, Lamar Jackson had more carries than Derrick Henry did, and he ran for 122. And his less weight body, I mean, he's like friggin' skinny as a rail now because he lost so much weight in the offseason, which has also been an issue of criticism from the Baltimore fans and the pundits that he's lost so much weight, he risks himself getting pounded and getting injured during the season because he doesn't have all that bulk that he had last year. So, but yeah, I mean, but again, any defense going up against the Chiefs will have a tendency to not be do exposed because they're going up Mahomes and company. I mean, any defense that goes up against the Chiefs is bound to get burned at some point. Even with a defense as good as the Ravens. What are you shaking your head for, Elliot? Go ahead.
Don't put him up against our 49ers again.
Oh, Jesus God. Here we go. So you think the Niners defense would
You said no you said no. You said no.
So you say the defense, the Niners defense would keep Mahomes in check more than the Ravens did?
Sure, they usually do. Isn't that like he fucking burned up the score sheet in the game?
But yet they've lost 2 Super Bowls to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the last 4 years. So I mean,
Right, and that's basically on the shoulders of Kyle Shanahan.
I was gonna say your buddy Kyle Shanahan who panics in the fourth quarter, right?
It got nothing to do with nothing but Kyle Shanahan.
Trying to outsmart himself.
Yep. Going into Falcon mode.
Going into Falcon mode.
Super
Sad
Bowl
but true.
Falcon mode.
Sad but true.
Speaking of which, Pittsburgh wins it with what, 6 field goals
Yeah,
Yep.
that's another team that has 6 field goals.
and no touchdowns, but yet they still won the game against the Falcons.
And the Falcons
What
will
does
be
that tell
0-2 after
What does
this.
that tell you? What does that tell you?
What tells you the pundits that said the Falcons are going to win the division are wrong?
They'll be 0-2 after this week.
Raheem Morris is not going to make a difference on that team. Not the difference you think he's going
I'm
to.
kind of sort of rooting for Raheem Morris because I have a soft spot for
Well,
him.
you're rooting for him, but that's, come on, man.
Well, they'll be 0-2 after they get beat down by Philly.
Oh, Philly's going to.
Oh, Philly's going to destroy him. Yeah,
Philly's
Philly will
going to
destroy
eat that
them.
ass.
I agree.
In Philly? Yeah, in Philly? Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck trying to stop Saquon and the boys.
Saquon's going to have a great first home game for Philly. I mean, the dude scored 3 touchdowns against the Ravens on opening in Brazil on a bad turf. You know what? And again, I'm going to repeat what I said tonight. The NFL needs to get involved when it comes to the turf. in these foreign countries. You know, they got to have standards. They got to, you know, tell
They
these.
can't because the country's not going to put up any funds to fix a field.
Yeah, they're not going to adhere to any of
They're
that.
not-
Because
no.
it's all soccer field turf. It's not football turf.
Right.
It's soccer field turf.
Now, it would be up to the NFL to come in if
Yes.
they could, but they might not want to do that. Let the NFL do that. The government might say, no, if you want the job done, we'll do it, but you're paying us.
And the NFL should pay it.
Yep.
Why?
Well, I read one article stating that during the day the field was in tip-top shape, but then as night settled, then it got progressively worse.
Sheila's in the house. Hey guys. Hey Sheila.
Sheila, what's up, girl? Anyway,
And also Christians in watching as well.
Buddy hasn't set a post. What's going on with that?
oh, by the way, we won without McCaffrey.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's
I just
fine.
wanted to remind you of that. We put up 32 points and 180 yards on the ground without Christian McCaffrey.
Well, and you know what? That tells you how good the offensive line is in San Francisco, Elliot.
yeah, and with that defense, watch out. Minnesota, we coming for you this week.
Yep. And Wayne, how are you finding out who's in the chat? Because I don't know how to do that.
Sam Darnold is going up against the Niners.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, Christian is in and Sheila's in.
How do you know that?
I'm looking on Facebook.
How do you know that?
I got Facebook on my phone.
Right, but how do you? I mean, where do you go to? Because all I see is Sheila, and that's because she posted. But I don't see anything. I don't see any place to click on to show who's actually in and watching.
Yeah, I went into groups and your groups is the name of it, and then tap the live to bring it up live so I can see everything. Yep.
Yeah, it's Cheryl and Sheila.
How in the hell are you seeing that? Because I can't see it.
The little I that's underneath in the Facebook, the little I that's underneath the title of the broadcast,
The
where it
eye.
says 2 and then there's an I next to it.
Yeah, and now it says 3.
Does it change to 3 now?
Yep.
How am I not seeing that? I don't
I
know.
still got 2.
I've got 3, but it doesn't give me any idea whose it is.
Yeah, it doesn't show me the third one at all.
Yeah, right now it's not showing me the third person, but there are 3 in.
That's weird.
Yep.
See who's in. I don't know why I can't see it, but that's all right. It's neither here nor there. So Wayne, what are your reflections on week 1?
My reflections are to go back to the game that you said that Buffalo should have lost. Let's throw Chicago in there as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Tennessee.
the offense didn't score a touchdown.
Yeah, there was no offensive touchdowns in that Chicago game.
And then kudos once again to New England. But Cincinnati, they do this every year. They don't get started until they're 1-4, 1-5. They win like 10 in a row. So you know, kudos to New England. The best game of the weekend, notwithstanding the 49ers, of course, and that would be Texans and the Colts.
Yes. 60 yards in the air.
No, it was 70 yards in the air.
Was it 70 yards in the air?
It was 6. He was dropped back like 10 yards.
And he didn't even step into his pass. It was almost off his back foot.
Yeah.
I mean, Richardson put a bomb out, and it was just amazing to see that.
That's why I drafted him.
I mean, I know the Colts lost the game, but Anthony Richardson it was just. I mean, the arm really impressed the hell out of me.
That's why I drafted him.
Okay.
And then going back to Friday night with
Green
the
Bay
Eagles and Green Bay, Jordan Love. What's that? At least 4 weeks on IR?
Yeah, and Willis is now.
No,
the
they're not putting
quarterback.
him on IR.
They're not? Oh, they're not? Oh,
They're not
okay.
gonna put him on IR.
He's week to week. He's got a sprained MCL.
So, because if they were to put him on IR, and let's say after 3 weeks they say he's ready to go, he couldn't come
We
back.
got to wait another week.
He'd
Yeah.
have to wait another week.
Yes. But yeah, I mean, so Malik Willis is going to be the starting quarterback for the Packers going forward for the next couple of weeks. And when he went in there, he wasn't very good. So it's a pretty scary situation.
And he
But
won't
I
be
keep
very
telling
good
you
in the
guys,
preseason.
I keep telling you guys, Ryan Tannehill is out there.
I was going to say the pundits are asking, "Hey, come on, bring Ryan Tannehill in as his backup," and I agree with that. I mean, he's out there waiting on someone to pick him up. So
And then the most fascinating thing I saw from the games this weekend wasn't even in the game itself. Watching Ricky Pearsall on the sidelines for the 49ers standing there after being shot. And he's only, and I mean, just standing there, he's like, I could play right now, but since they put me on IR, I got to wait 4 games.
Hey, they showed a video of him taking a picture with
the first responders that
the first
saved his life.
responders that saved his life.
Yes. I mean, that's amazing. He's going to be ready. I mean, he's only on short-term IL, so he can replay. He can come back after 4 weeks of the season and come and play.
Yep.
You know.
I'm going to tell you right now, though, that 49ers passing game looked pretty good.
Well, and the fact that Purcell, I mean, he was lucky. Purcell. He was lucky because the bullet didn't hit any vital organs.
Straight through.
No, it just went straight through.
It was through and through.
God's got bigger plans for him.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the 49ers passing game looked good, and that's what Brandon Ayuk timing not being what it should have been. Because that touchdown in the back of the end zone that he dropped, he
would have dropped if he would have been
right in there.
Hey, if he would have been in training camp, he would have caught that ball.
Yeah, that I agree. That goes with where he held out so long.
The mechanics of it all.
Yeah.
Hey, see, the mechanics of catching a ball can be compromised if you're not fast enough or you're too slow.
Agreed.
Or you're too fast. It's got to be just right. And because he sat in for the entire preseason, he's not really in top game shape.
He's not in game shape.
Football
Right.
shape. Yeah. Yeah, he's not in football shape.
I'm talking about mechanically.
Yep.
Because physically, he's still a specimen. He's still an athlete. He can sustain. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But it's the mechanics behind it all.
Yeah. Look
You know,
at
it's
Trent
like-
Williams. He played the whole game.
It's like an engine. If something fails, you know what I'm saying? The mechanics behind it all.
Yeah, Trent Williams played the whole game.
Trent Williams played the whole damn game. Is right. Yep. And they didn't do shit. Purdy had time. Dude, Purdy was back there freaking doing crossword puzzles and before he threw the
Duco.
yeah, doing a Google Meet with his mom or whatever, FaceTime or whatever.
The prettiest
Yeah,
pass was the one he threw to use check down the sideline. That he feathered it. That was pretty. That was pretty.
And Debo picked it up. Debo did well last night.
Debo slimmed down. And it threw me off because they kept saying Samuel and I kept seeing number 1. And I'm like, who is this? Who is this guy? I didn't realize he changed
And
the
then
number
I
19 to
then I
1.
kept seeing the number 19 on defense. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, I didn't know he switched to number 1.
Yeah, he switched after the season last season.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, I'm pretty sure it pissed off people that bought Samuel jerseys right around that time.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
I'd have been mad if I bought a Samuel jersey for the Super Bowl. Then he changes it to a 1.
And not only Samuel, then he put senior on at the end of it now.
Yeah, exactly.
But other games this past weekend, the Seattle game, Seattle came out and ball. So
I was pretty impressed with Bo Nix. actually.
Yeah, even though they beat Denver, yeah, Bo Nix, he's pretty decent. And Jaden
Yeah.
Daniels for the Commanders,
Well, Jaden
That
Daniels had a
Seattle
good,
defense is tough. So,
yeah.
Jaden Daniels had a good game running the football.
oh,
I mean,
Jaden Daniels was bomb, dude. That kid's gonna be something to deal with once he gets a couple more.
once he gets comfortable in that offense, he's gonna.
He needs another wide receiver, and he's a tight end.
Yep.
I know they got Zach Ertz, but Ertz is kind of long in the tooth.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Baker had a good game with the Buccaneers. I mean, you threw for almost 300 yards, which makes us Browns fans lament letting him go in the first place. But because of what we have now, and again, there are new charges out there against Deshaun Watson that came out today.
Yeah, from
Sexual
2020.
assault,
From 2020.
from 2020.
Yep.
So I know, and I said this Sunday night, we need to try and figure out a way to move on from Deshaun Watson. I'm willing to put up with the crab leg stealer, thefter, whatever you want to call him, Jameis Winston,
Right.
over Deshaun Watson. I'm done with the guy. I said I was done with the guy on Sunday. I'm done. I don't hold out any freaking hope for the remainder of the season, as long as he is the quarterback, that the Browns will do well. I foresee them with Deshaun Watson as quarterback finishing last in the division. That's how I feel. You know?
Well, did you see his press conference? He said the team has
The
to do
team
better.
needs to play better.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Deshaun. You need to play better. I mean, the guy looked like he was afraid in the pocket and had no freaking, no confidence whatsoever.
No pocket.
I know
presence.
he hasn't played since 2022, pretty much, or at least against the Ravens last year, which was his best game. But you know what? Unless he progresses in this offense, which happened to be the best offense in the league last year, thank you,
Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. Thank you, Joe Flacco, who was comeback player of the year. Watson needs to really hunker down and find out what he really wants to do. It doesn't look like he loves playing football anymore. It doesn't look like it.
Well, he had no pocket presence on Sunday. I can tell
It
you
may
that.
be an overreaction, but the dude just doesn't have it like he did in Houston. He doesn't. I'm done with him.
Who?
Elliot, I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Who? Who are you done with?
Deshaun Watson.
Oh, that's old news. Huh?
Are you surprised by this? I'm done. I'm over it. I'm done.
You might get your wish though.
Well, I would. You know what? When it comes to the point where I'm more
This is-
willing to
This is
accept.
why I have my video blocked.
Well,
So
you got pizza in your hand. Okay, I got you. Anyway, when it comes to the point where I am rooting for Deshaun for Jameis Winston over Deshaun Watson, you know it's a big deal. So
no, because you don't like Deshaun Watson.
I've hated him since the
It's
Browns
not a big
traded
deal.
for him. I've hated him ever since the Browns traded for him. I hate it.
But you might get your wish soon
I certainly freaking hope so.
because the NFL is opening an investigation into
Yes.
the latest lawsuit.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. And this is more serious than what he had before in the civil lawsuits. This is actually sexual assault.
They could put him on the commissioner's list
Yep.
for non-injury until the investigation's over.
So
And they don't exactly move that fast, so it could be the rest of the season.
Google paragraph 42. I'm just saying. You'll figure out where I'm coming from. Because that's a clause in his contract that could release the Browns from his contract. So
Well, if you want to say use the term stealing money, he's
oh
done a
my
good
God,
job.
is he stealing money? Jesus Christ. You know what? And the fact is he's got $92 million guaranteed after this season left on his contract. So, I mean,
He ain't still nothing because Cleveland didn't have to sign him. Man.
You know what? And I'm really disappointed in Andrew Berry and Jimmy Haslam for bringing this guy into the fold because he's not what he was in Houston, and I have yet to see any signs that he will be what he was in Houston.
You can't steal from a gift that was given to you.
Yeah.
Right.
Be back in a moment, gentlemen.
It's all in the ownership.
Was that? Oh.
What do you
Yeah,
Be
say?
back in a moment.
It's
Okay.
down in the ownership. You know, ain't no two ways about that. The organization has to take the brunt of the blame.
I agree.
Oh,
I wholeheartedly agree.
just a quick second. Go Kamala.
Yes, the debate's tonight at 9:00. You gonna be watching, Elliot?
Of course.
Yeah, I may actually stay up and watch it myself. Although I will have assistance in watching the game, watching the debate.
I don't have to worry about it because it'll be 6 o'clock here.
Yeah. But it's at 9:00 tonight, and I will actually want to watch the train wreck that is this debate tonight. I'm just,
Hey, I'm gonna be drinking an orange crush while I watch it.
but yeah, my takeaway again, Dallas had their way with the defense, which I'm disappointed. I mean, granted, they had a couple of sacks on Dak, but that jet sweep was friggin' deadly. And I foresee going forward, teams are going to use that jet sweep to try and beat that defense. Don't get me wrong, guys. The Browns still have a top defense in the NFL. It's all a matter of putting it together and making it work. And I have a feeling that their defensive coordinator is gonna get those guys in shape. My issue is with the offense because it looks like shit. This was the number one offense in the last part of the last season. Okay, but the problem is they got the wrong guy running it, and I'm not a fan of Deshaun Watson. I never have been a fan of Watson ever since he came over and all these charges and all these accusations came across.
But you were okay with him before then.
No, before he was great in Houston. Before all the in Houston, yeah. But he's not the guy he was in Houston. He's not. He's not the same quarterback.
But he said he was going to be after he was gone. You know what I'm saying? Again, with all those legal issues, this is what gets me about the whole Cleveland thing is not only were they taking a but they were paying him all this money and he had legal problems.
Right.
And they knew it.
They knew
wasn't
it.
like they didn't know.
The worst contract in the history of the NFL outside of the big trade with Jimmy Johnson in the Cowboys.
No, I'm gonna have to throw Jamarcus Russell in there.
Well, Marcus Russell was drafted and he sucked, so that's all right. Marcus Russell was drafted and he got paid before there was a rookie salary cap. So yeah, he robbed the Raiders. But
Oh yeah.
So did Ryan. So did
I don't know.
Ryan Leaf. They robbed
the
the Chargers too. But that's
I think Ben Simmons is pretty thefty when it comes to stealing money from organizations.
Ben Simmons.
Oh, we switched over to basketball.
I'll bring you one in every sport. I'll bring you one in every sport.
Let's say Ben Simmons wasn't a football player. What's going on with that?
Don't matter.
Yeah,
It's the principle.
I can't argue with that one either. But
It's
yeah,
the principle of the matter. Okay.
they signed him to that huge contract. He had legal issues, and they knew about it. It wasn't like they went in blind.
But since they know that they suck at drafting quarterbacks, they had to go out and buy one.
Well, the Browns do suck at I will
Exactly.
give you that, Elliot. They suck at drafting quarterbacks. Yes, absolutely. They haven't drafted a good quarterback since they got Bernie Kosar in the supplemental draft in like 88 or 89, whatever, in the 80s, whatever it was. So yeah, I mean, Tim Cow. I mean, there's a laundry list of quarterbacks just since '99 that they could. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Mhm.
And going after Deshaun Watson was is probably
They
going to go
scared
down.
themselves, man. They scared themselves.
Yeah, well, Deshaun Watson is going to probably go down in the worst decision Jimmy Haslam has ever made as an owner of the Browns. So it is what it is. I mean, and it sucks because this team has a championship level defense. It has a ton of weapons on the offensive side. But the problem is the quarterback that they have is indecisive. He's scared. He doesn't know what the hell is going on. And I mean, some of the throws, I mean, he threw a pass to CeeDee Lamb on the sideline, for Christ's sake, on Sunday. So I mean, it's just, I mean, I'm done with Deshaun Watson until they change who's under center. I don't expect the Browns to win at all. I expect them to finish in the bottom of the division. You know what, Watson? If you think that's good, prove it to me. Show me. Don't tell me what you can do.
Man, no, he conceded the season in week 1, you know.
Well, what I said when you were away, Elliot, is he had the audacity to say we need to play better as a team.
Yeah. No, the team needs to play better.
Yeah. Not even a we. The team needs to play better.
The team.
Yeah.
I'm getting paid all this money. The team needs to get paid better. Yeah.
As the team goes, you need a quarterback that's going to create plays and make plays. Deshaun Watson ain't it at this point.
Well, like I said, it seemed like he had no pocket presence whatsoever.
None. You're right. You're right, Wayne. Absolutely.
He was seeing ghosts, yo.
Yes. Well,
He was saying, who the hell do you think he is, Sam Darnold?
Well, you know what? Sam Darnold had a hell of a game against the Giants.
Darnold looked better than Deshaun Watson this
Yes,
week.
he did.
A lot better.
Yes. I'm finally glad that he got into a team that will actually highlight his talent. He did a good job against the Giants. Not that the Giants have anything to brag about because
Giants have an okay defense.
but
the defense is okay, but they still got
offense is freaking putrid.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones, they should never have signed him to that contract. It's pretty bad when the backup looks much better than your $160 million quarterback.
Oh, without a doubt. You sign him, and then Saquon goes to your division rival, and you saw what he did and what he is going to do when they play the Giants.
Well, there is tape from Hard Knocks where the owner says, "I don't care what you do with Saquon. Please don't let him walk to Philadelphia." And what happened?
Exactly what he did.
Exactly what he did. He let him walk to Philadelphia. They figured they could sign Daniel Jones to an extension because they felt he was the guy, and they let Saquon go. What did Saquon do in his first game? Only scored 3 touchdowns. Come on,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I mean, because this is what happens when you get Saquon behind a better offensive line. He runs rampant. He just goes crazy.
And when they signed Daniel Jones over Saquon, that's the day Saquon packed his bags knowing he was going to be leaving.
Yep.
Going somewhere. I didn't know it was going to be to a division rival.
Other than New York. And then on top of that, yeah, he goes to a division rival.
Not good management.
Nope. Well, you saw the interview. Did you see the segment of the interview that he had over the phone? The owner or Shine? Joe Shine?
You can go anywhere you want to. Just don't let him go to Philly.
I mean, the minute he asked him, "Are you going to call back?" That's when it was over.
I mean, you got the Giants faithful asking for Drew Lock, for God's sake, over Daniel Jones.
I'll say Drew Lock over Daniel Jones any day. Drew Lock played in the game last
Tommy
year.
DeVito on the roster. What about him? You know what I'm saying? Remember Tommy DeVito last year?
Yeah, he came in and balled for about 3 or 4 weeks.
So
Keep him on the restaurant tour. He'll be all right.
on the restaurant tour, nice, Elliot. Yes.
The local New Jersey restaurant tour.
Yes. Yes. Yes, the local paisan, the Italian stallion. Anyway,
Exactly. They'll keep him relevant.
but I want to re-emphasize that the Browns fandom, the Go Browns Nation, the Dog Pound, want nothing to do with Deshaun Watson. I've been on Twitter /X all day, and there's just an outcry to put him on the bench and bring in Jameis Winston. Now, I don't know if Jameis is going to be any better because he had because of his history with interceptions.
Yeah, but that's before he had LASIK surgery.
Before he had LASIK surgery, yes. I mean, he did play well for New Orleans as a backup when he was there. I only hope that the LASIK is going to be good enough to where, and you know what? Jameis is the ultimate motivator. He is the one giving the motivational speech before the game. It's not Deshaun. It's Jameis Winston.
Well, let me ask you this, Scott.
I mean, who the hell wants to?
Well, I was going to ask Scott, based on your affinity or lack thereof for Deshaun Watson and his lack of pocket presence, this is me personally. If I was a Cleveland fan, I'd take Jameis and his possible interceptions, but his willingness to win and his fighting for everybody else on the team.
And you know what? He's got the fire under his freaking belt, dude.
Hey, he's got lots of pocket presence. It's just not on the field.
Easy now.
Well, and you know what though? Jameis at least has a fire in him that wants to succeed.
Exactly.
John hasn't shown that. Shut up, Elliot. But I mean,
yeah, I'll take Jameis and his possible interceptions any day. At this point,
you know what? I think the players would follow Jameis more than they would follow Deshaun Watson. I really do think so. So, but the Browns are forced to play Watson because of his contract. That's the bottom line. You know, like I said, after this season, he still has $92 million guaranteed. It's the worst quarterback contract in history.
And if they release him, what's the cap hit going to be?
You saw the James. Hey, you saw the James Gandolfino meme I put out, right?
No, what is it?
The one with the expression of the Browns fans.
Yes.
Hang on.
Liked it? Or you?
I saw it.
I think I did too, but I got to look at it again. Hang on a second.
This is what all Cleveland fans look like today, or whatever.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah,
I laughed.
Yeah, like he was going to kill somebody. Yeah, I got you.
Yep. I'm telling you, man. Cleveland ain't happy.
No, we're not. Not at all.
So you said
your baseball team is losing to the White Sox. What else we got going on with Cleveland?
You said you're on X and people on there were lamenting Deshaun's play as well.
Yeah.
He sucks.
Yeah, Joe Flacco had more 300 yard passing games.
He had 4 300-yard games in 5
And Deshaun has 0. You're correct.
And he has 0.
Yeah. Yeah, and I also like your meme where if the Giants wore pants, they'd have a better shot. Those uniforms were terrible, guys. I mean, just flat out.
Well, it does look like he's naked, don't it? The pants?
It does. It does.
Yep.
I love your Bryce Young meme too. By week 6, he's working in fast food.
Oh, Bryce Young?
Yes, Bryce Young.
Working at Canes?
Yes. So
Talking about setting somebody up for failure.
How about Shanahan's call for play call for Jordan Mason? Did you guys see that one?
no, what was it?
Oh, go to the Sports Nerd page and scroll down a little bit.
Oh yeah, I did see that. Yes,
The running play.
running play. Yes, it's run through a motherfucker's face. Yes, I got it. Yes,
The
Yes.
design run play.
yes,
I haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet. I'm gonna have to go check it out.
yeah. It's in.
How
it's
about
in the
when we
sports room.
destroyed the Jets? The Jets jet.
Yes. All right, guys. Thursday, we're going to preview the Thursday night game, which is the Bills and the Dolphins.
Here it is. After a horrendous loss to the Cowboys.
Speaking of the Dolphins, we haven't really approached the situation with Tyreek Hill on Sunday.
What situation? Those cops were idiots.
The cops were idiots. I mean,
they dragged him out of the car.
Listened to, even the Miami Dolphins came out with a strong comment. I have a tendency to agree that the cops were overreacted to the situation. There was no reason for him to yank him out of his car and put him on the ground face first in handcuffs. And then the Walter Payton Man of the Year walks up with his hands like this, trying to defuse the situation, and they put him in handcuffs.
Calais.
Yes, Calais. You know, it could have been handled so much better. There's an internal investigation going on at the Miami PD. Who knows what's going to happen? I tend to fall on the side of Tyreek Hill in this situation.
Well, they said he was out of the car and resisted arrest. Yeah, when you get dragged out of your car and get thrown to the ground.
Right. For speeding and no seatbelt, that's all the charges that were there. I mean, he was going 60 miles an hour, so yeah, he deserved a ticket. He didn't deserve to be treated the way he was treated. There's no way.
No way.
He might be dead if it wasn't the fact that he's Tyreek Hill.
Or the fact that there were so many cameras around to show what was going on. But yeah, I mean, Tyreek got brutalized, and that's not fair. It's not right.
Well, I just learned this morning that in life there are 3 certainties:
death, taxes, and
Aaron Rodgers losing to the 49ers.
Perfect.
And that is a perfect way to end the show, Elliot. Thank you very much. All right, we're going to get out of here. We'll be back Thursday night to preview the Thursday night game with the Bills and the Dolphins, as well as preview week number 2 in the NFL. I am your host, Scott, the Sports Tonight. I want to say thank you to my co-host, Mr. Big.
LA Knight now?
What?
You said you're Scott the Sports Nerd Knight? What?
No, I didn't say that. Scott the Sports Nerd, right?
Okay, you got it right.
With my co-host, Mr. Elliot Big E, the producer, and Wayne the Professor Lynch. On that note, Elliot, please play the outro.
Thank you once again, Nerd Nation, for spending part, if not all of your evening with us here for this latest episode of the Nerd Show. Please keep in mind that we do this on a regular basis every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday night. And since each night's start time is different, please check out our SNN group page on Facebook for the correct time. So until the next time we come together, Nerd Nation, on behalf of the Sports Nerd and his co-hosts, Ken Coslow, John Olson, Wayne Lynch, and me, Big E,
And
may
Dave.
your lives be filled with all the best sports action anyone human can handle, as well as all the joy it could possibly bring you. And with all that said, good night, Nerd Nation, as the time has come to say, we